outside, not a me thing.
Want beer? Oh yeah? Well, so's your face. Stop touching my magic phone. Well, you're mistaken.
Vidka?
Hey,
You're really campaigning for Bitch of the Year, aren't you?
I swear, one of these times you're gonna wake up in a coma.
If we can focus, keep discipline, and not have quite as many mysterious deaths, Sunnydale is gonna rule!
Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 52 of Gerardcast, the Buffy the
Thank
Vampire
God.
Slayer recap podcast that brings you all things Whedon. I am your host, Brandon Ellis, and I'm joined by my co-host over here.
The one and only Jewel Rocket Rose.
Jewel Rocket Rose.
Who is she has shown up today. I mean, look at this. Look at this hair.
And we are joined, as always, by our stalwart producer / fact checker, BJ Kramer. Hi, BJ.
Hello, everyone. Lovely to see you all.
And we are here. We took an unexpected little 1 week break. I had to fly back to the States. I had a death in the family, so I am here in Texas. And,
Wow.
I'm in a 5-year-old's bedroom, as you can see if you're watching the video. But we decided it's time to come back and knock out our first season of Angel. So this week we're talking about Blind Date and To Live and Shanshu in LA. Before we do that, let's talk about the other things we've been watching. Let's start with BJ. What have you been watching, BJ?
A lot of Adam Savage's Tested channel on YouTube. You watch Adam Savage in a workshop build stuff.
It's like a Mythbusters kind of deal.
No, it really is. He has his own workshop and he just builds things. A lot of it is like costume-oriented cosplay stuff, a lot of sci-fi stuff. But he's got a ridiculous array of talents, and watching him do woodworking and painting and metalworking and whatever. It's just, I don't know.
Awesome. Jewel, what have you been watching?
All right, listen, I jumped on the train. I jumped on it, and I'm okay with it. I watched The Bridgerton, you guys. I watched it. I saw it. I watched the whole thing, cover to cover, front to back. I'm even reading the book because I was like, really? My assessment is of the entire thing, and please come for me if you feel like I'm wrong. It's Gossip Girl in the 1800s. But
Is
like
this the one with
exactly
Julie
Gossip
Andrews?
Girl. Yeah, it's Julie
Okay.
Andrews is the Kristen Bell Gossip Girl.
Yeah, I've heard a bit about it.
Listen, it is, by the way, let me forewarning.
Julie Andrews is Kristen Bell.
Forewarning. Do not watch this show with a parent or parental figure or,
Super sexy.
I mean,
What is with every show being so horny these days? Like, I like a horny show, but everything is horny when you watch it now.
there is nothing safe out there.
Are we
It's
becoming
just like
boomers?
real life.
For
Is this us
real.
becoming boomers?
I was sitting there and I was like, oh my God, like, I don't even want to look at the screen. I'm like looking at my phone, like, please just let me disappear. Let me melt away into the couch. I can't be here. BJ, you have children of an age where they know what things like that are. How do you deal with that when you're sat there and like, comes on screen and you're like, you just pretend it's not happening?
Every time I remember that my boys have unfettered access to Pornhub, I think back to my Sports Illustrated swimsuit issues from the 80s. And I think, you know what? Kids are all right.
No, but like when
International
you
Male
are
Catalog.
watching,
Yeah, right?
when you are sat with your kids watching together,
I'm trying to think of like what
does one do? If you were sitting next to the only child that kid I can remember is Ozzy, because I'm like, Ozzy Osbourne.
Ozzy is 16. And
Okay. So if you were
sometime in the last few
watching-
years, this
Yeah.
did happen, and we just ended up cracking jokes about it. I forgot what it was.
Oh.
But he's vastly more mature than I was at that age, so I'm just not worried about.
I mean, more mature than I am at this age. I'm just saying.
Also, him being gay or bi or whatever he ends up deciding, I think means
That's
that
how
there's
it works. You decide.
there's just no point in, he knows everything and then some.
You be you, kid.
Oh, there was a time when playing Cards Against Humanity, he had to explain to my then girlfriend what bukkake is. So.
That's for a different show.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. The algorithm on Apple Podcasts is going to love this episode.
Okay. One word.
Yeah, it's all good. I have been watching the Jane Lynch hosted Weakest Link, which I love very much. I'm so happy that Weakest Link is back.
Hold on. On that Weakest Link, on that note, my friend Brian, who worked with me on the carpet for the Oscars this past year, was on Weakest Link. He almost won.
So was my friend Debbie Starrin, and she was also amazing.
Were they on the same episode together?
Maybe, I don't know. I watched all of them back to back. So, but all I'm going to say is Jane Lynch is a great replacement for Sue, whatever her pants was from the 90s.
Oh, 100%.
I love it. I love it. It's fast-paced trivia. It's exactly what I love in a TV show. I get annoyed with like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire because it's so fucking slow. So it's nice to watch something that's fast-paced. I have something else to add. I've been watching In My Dreams. I've been thinking a lot since we talked about the episode of Buffy Restless about dreams and stuff. So I've been trying to like jot down my dreams. Last night, Jewel, I had a dream that you featured heavily in, where you got me hired to be Stevie Nicks' assistant. And let me tell you, it's a weird job, and I don't want it. It was a lot. It was a lot of like, take all 6 of my dogs to the. I don't know if she has 6 dogs, but in this dream she had 6 dogs, and she wanted like really specific things from the grocery store that were just. It was excessive. I didn't enjoy it. I don't want that job, just for the record.
Fantastic. That is the most hysterical thing. Also, can I just mention, like, just to add on to that, I still have yet to have a dream.
Well, there you go. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm not a big
somebody
dreamer.
to wake you up in the middle of the night, just immediately jump on you, wake up. What were you dreaming? What are you dreaming right now? Could you do that?
You guys, I'm thinking it's because I'm a really light sleeper. I'm not a bit. I don't get into REM sleep really often. I hear everything in the night, and I'm a jumpy person just by nature. So like maybe that is why I don't dream, because like I have had dreams. I'm not saying like I have not had dreams. I've had nightmares. I've had dreams. I've had all kinds of things. It's just not a nightly occurrence for me. It's something special has to happen, I guess.
For me, it's like as long as the light level doesn't change in a room, I can sleep through anything. I can sleep through noise. I can sleep through people coming in and out. But if the light level darkens or brightens, I prefer a pitch black room. But if I fall asleep with lights on, if those lights go off, I'm awake, and I'm awake permanently. Like, it's very weird. I'm a light sensitive sleeper, but I'm not a noise sensitive sleeper. I think it's all those years of living in Manhattan did that to me.
I live in Los Angeles. I can sleep through any traffic, lulls me to sleep totally fine. I can go into a silent place, fall asleep totally fine. It's if the atmosphere around me changes, I am awake, I am alert, and I am ready. I am at the ready, so don't break in.
I can only fall asleep when I'm being serenaded by the screams of my victims.
Well, that checks out.
I don't love that, BJ,
bring things back around.
I'm just saying, not everyone dreams, you guys.
A couple of things.
I live my dreams.
A couple of things I want. Wow. Live, laugh, love. A couple of things I want to address before we get into these episodes. So we will be taking a hiatus after this week for this podcast. Jewel and I are launching a 90s podcast, and we have a lot of work to do on that. And then I have my West Wing podcast with Apollo that I put on hold for this whole thing as well. Jewel and I are going to be working our asses off over the next 3 weeks to book as many guests as we can, get guests from this previous season. We'll be doing interviews and things like that as they pop up. But they'll be very sporadic.
Subscribe to our Patreon so that you have access to them at all times, you guys.
You should subscribe to our Patreon, and you will see the interviews as they go up. Oh, I can't put that up because we got a new Patreon page. I have incorporated our business now, the GAC Podcast Network, that all of our podcasts are going to fall under this umbrella. So keep an eye out for that. I need to change our Patreon, but it's
Brandon,
GAC.
when did we become a brand?
When I had nothing better to do on a flight, so I decided to fill out incorporation paperwork.
I love it.
So keep an eye out for that. I'll put the Patreon link up at the end of the episode. But yeah, so please join our Patreon and follow our other podcasts. We have As If, which is our 90s podcast. We have Walk in the Halls, which is our West Wing podcast, which has been very fun. We had State Representative Laura Ebke from Nebraska on last week. Unfortunately, nothing has been happening in politics, so I don't know what we're going to talk about.
I'm shocked that no one is dressed like a Minotaur for this episode.
West Wing must have had a 25th Amendment plot line at some point, didn't it?
I mean, this is insanity, but let's not get into that. Let's not get into the nightmare hellscape.
Question.
Yes.
Sorry. Who's the Kiefer Sutherland in this situation? Who is the designated survivor?
They were all in the. You know who the designated survivor would have been? I looked into this actually. So if Trump was out and if Pence and Pelosi had been, it would have gone to Elaine Chao, the transportation secretary, who has now resigned, and then it would have gone to what's her pants, Betsy DeVos, the education secretary. So now it would go to Ben Carson at HUD.
Wow.
Because that is who Kiefer Sutherland was. Kiefer Sutherland was the actually decent version of
Ben Carson. Naomi asked if the Patreon subscriptions will automatically be transferred. Yes, they will.
Yes, they will.
Just keep an eye out. But all of our Patreon, all of our shows will be under the same Patreon umbrella. So for $5 a month, you get access to the Buffy stuff, the West Wing stuff, anything that you want to join. We'll be launching a Hannibal podcast very soon to cover the TV show Hannibal and the related films. And we will be launching a Psych podcast in the next couple months as well. So please keep an eye out for all of that. So anyway, on that note, on Angel, as Naomi says, so Angel, there was a blind lady. Yes, there was.
I'm still confused.
Our first episode is Blind Date. Angel reluctantly agrees to help Lindsay McDonald crack the secret files of Wolfram and Hart to save a group of 3 blind children from a blind woman assassin hired by the unseen senior partners of the firm. Well, they're blind, so they're going to be. With a little help from Lindsay and Charles Gunn, who cause a diversion, Angel sneaks into the ultra-high-tech security firm to steal computer files. However, soon Lindsay isn't sure if he can stick by his decision to help Angel and betray the firm when Holland Manners, Lindsay's superior, offers him the promotion of a lifetime. So, this episode is the penultimate episode of season 1 of Buffy.
I like the way you said that,
Angel,
penultimate.
Penultimate's a fun word. It's like titular.
Titular.
So this whole episode opens with there's a lady and she's carrying a cane and she has like a guy helping her walk and she's clearly blind, and then Angel like stumbles upon her and she's just murdered a dude, and he like starts to fight her, but she goes full daredevil and they get in like a real serious fight, and he realizes that she actually is blind. She slips away, he goes back to headquarters. And Cordelia looks up blind woman murder on the internet, which I'm sure now would just be porn links. But back then it led them to
I'm finding out
the information that she is a human rather than a demon. And she's a career criminal. She's on trial for murder. And Wolfram and Hart is representing her in court. Now, this episode...
Hang on. 82-year-old blind woman shot over stolen Xbox. That's the first. That's ripped from the headlines. By the way, I hate to plug other podcasts, but there is a podcast that I've been listening to. Jewel, you have to start listening to it because you will love it. But it is called.
Tell me.
It's called That Was Something. I should know this, but that's messed up. It's a Law and Order SVU podcast where they talk about Law and Order SVU episodes and the true stories that inspire them. It's amazing. You'll love it.
Mars is listening to this as well. She told me.
Oh my God, Brandon, send me a link or something.
I will. I would love to. If anyone knows them or knows how to connect with them, I would love to do a crossover episode between our shows because I think it would be very fun. So anyway, so Wolfram Hart is representing this woman pro bono. So obviously the implication is that she's helping them. So Lindsay is her lawyer, and Lindsay is arguing like this woman has a disability. Like there's no way that she has murdered all these people. And Angel walks in and throws her glasses at her, and she catches them immediately. And the court
Without looking.
"Oh, that's it, murderer." She caught glasses. She must be a murderer.
She caught glasses like thrown from behind her without turning around.
Have you guys seen the videos that are like conspiracy theories that Stevie Wonder isn't really blind?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what it reminds me of. Oh, that's not
What if
related.
he isn't really blind?
How funny would that be if that was the big root? You know what? It's like still 2020, so it could happen.
I'm just saying, like that it would be a big moment that came out.
2020 didn't start sucking until March, so I think that March to March is 1 year, is 2020. We're still in 2020.
I think we're in a 2020 adjacent. Like we are in the second chapter of 2020. This is a 2020 part A and B.
Yeah, and then once March, will be okay.
Every decade doesn't quite end at the right time. You know this, right? That the 50s ended when Kennedy was shot, and the 60s ended like at Watergate. The 70s ended at the end of disco.
Yeah.
The 80s ended when Nirvana's Nevermind came out. For sure. That was instantly it.
Well, the Jews have a different calendar altogether. So is that what you're referencing, BJ?
No,
Because
I'm just referencing
to them,
like,
it's your 5,700 and bananas.
He's talking like this.
If you're talking about the 80s, 1990 is part of it, and so is part of 91. You still had hair metal bands. Then that's 80s. So I think that we can say that 2000 ends when everybody's vaccinated.
Yeah.
Until then, it's 2020.
So it turns out that the jury says they quit Vanessa anyway. Lindsay meets with Holland Manners, and he's like, this guy did such a good job in court. And Lindsay's talking to Vanessa, and Lindsay is clearly like not happy to be around this kooky blind lady. Like, for all of the demons and monsters and whatever that he encounters, like this blind lady is what finally is making him second guess his job.
Well, she's the creepiest.
Exactly. So Lindsay, where was I? Okay, so Holland speaks to Lindsay, and he's like, look, you made a mistake trying to send Faith after Angel. You need to figure out your place in the world. And Holland's like, it's a good idea if you come up with like a tragic and horrible story, because she's going to do something that's going to require like a really good defense in court, right? So Lindsay's like, what is this about? Holland's like, there's some kids coming, and those kids are going to be a problem.
We got to murderize some children.
We're going to have to murder some blind kids, which, like sometimes you got to do things that you don't plan on doing. And sometimes blind kids get in the way.
This is not Slumdog Millionaire, okay?
Some law firms do like good deeds and stuff.
So Wesley is explaining to Vanessa that Vanessa can see outside of the spectrum of human sight. Of course. Oh, I haven't heard that phone in a while. So of course, like that is like the Daredevil thing, right? So Angel's, or like all her other senses are heightened, but she can actually see weirdly like things.
Like Predator.
Yeah. So Angel's upset that she's acquitted and he can't do anything about it. And he's like, they make their own rules. We're not going to win. We can't win. We're fighting against like all of this stuff. And nothing ever changes. But then Lindsay shows up, and Lindsay explains like he grew up poor. He just wanted to be a lawyer. He got sucked into Wolferman Hart, and he wants Angel to help him because he doesn't want these kids to die. So they decide that they're going to break into Wolferman Hart and steal the files related to the case. And Lindsay uses his pass to get into the building, and then he leaves it for Angel to use to get into the vault, and the vault is guarded by a demon. But then Lindsay remembers that the firm has vampire alarms. So when Angel enters the building, the alarms are going to go off because they'll be like, a vampire's here. So Angel goes to Gunn, who we met in previous episodes and who Jewel loved, by the way. Jewel is a big Gunn fan.
Oh, I am.
And Gunn agrees to help when he learns that it's dangerous. Lindsay runs into Lila, who we've met before, the lady lawyer, Lila, who is surprised to see him going toward the record room. He leaves his security pass for Angel. Gunn goes into the lobby and causes a commotion and brings in a vampire. The Angel crew shows up and there's a vampire there. The alarm goes off. They reveal the vampire. The security guards chase the vampire around, stake the vampire. Angel grabs Lindsay's pass, gets into the vault, takes some CDs, and then he noticed the restricted access CDs, which are, I guess, the CDs pertaining to this woman's case. And then he's about to leave, but he notices a tube covered with symbols, and he doesn't know what it is, but he's like drawn to it. So he takes it and makes his escape. What do we have here? Blah, 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 blah. So they leave, and Lindsay is told that he should get out of the building, but the security guards kind of round up all the lawyers, and they're doing a sweep, and they bring in these mind readers. And the mind readers go down the line reading all the lawyers' minds to figure out who helped break in. They find out that this guy, Lee Mercer, who's like the kind of smarmy lawyer that's with them throughout this season, like the younger smarmy guy.
Who also got his face bashed in many times by Faith.
His face bashed in many times, that guy. It turns out that he was working with another firm and trying to move into another firm, which was a whole thing.
Doesn't really explain how they didn't catch.
They do catch Lindsay. They do catch Lindsay, and they tell Holland.
Oh, that's right. They just told him afterwards.
They tell Holland. Nick calls him Evil Sheldon, the guy that.
Absolutely Evil Sheldon.
So Evil Sheldon gets shot and killed. Lindsay gets pulled aside by Holland Manners, and Holland's like, "Look, I know what you did, and like you have giant brass balls." And wasn't that essentially the vibe of that? Was like you've made your own destiny, like you did something different, right?
The impression I got was basically that, but also now you know that we can kill you for anything. It's a stick and carrot simultaneously.
Yeah, and Lindsay's like, I didn't want to lie or betray anyone. I just wanted out. And he's like, well, you have the courage of your convictions, and you know how to behave in a crisis. That's in my notes. He's like, you need to figure out where you belong. I'm not going to have you killed, but I'm going to give you a few days to figure out what you want to do. Which, Evil Sheldon didn't get that offer, but okay.
Lindsay's clearly the better lawyer.
I mean, clearly. So Angel goes back to his office, and Lindsay isn't there. And Angel's like, if Lindsay got out, he'll go to them. And if he didn't, then he's probably dead. So who gives a shit? Wesley finds the scroll that Angel took, and it has some stuff about the final days and that sort of thing. They're decoding the discs. They find out that this woman, Vanessa, is supposed to kill these 3 children because they're blind seers, and they work together for reasons.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons here.
Yeah, Lindsay goes in the office, and where was I? He doesn't tell them about what happened with Holland. The kids show up. Angel has Cordy and Wesley intercept the mentor, and he and Lindsay go to protect the children. The mentor being the guardian of these kids. Sorry, that was in my notes, and I messed it up. Vanessa goes to a safe house. She kills the guy, the guardian, and Angel tells Lindsay to get the kids out. Vanessa fights them both. Angel stops moving. Apparently, blind people are like snakes, and if you don't move, they can't see you. That's the vibe that I got.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Shocked you didn't
although
know
that did
They're
also harken
T-Rexes.
Predator. And Predator was more temperature, I believe. When Schwarzenegger covered himself up with mud, he became invisible because reasons.
That's how that works. So she's stabbing around stabbing around like Stevie Wonder, and then he's right in front of her, and then he kills her by stabbing her with her own cane. They're back at the office. Wesley tells Angel that the parchment that he stole contains the prophecies of Abergian, which is later referred to as the Shanshu prophecy, which talks about a vampire with a soul and his role in the apocalypse. Lindsay goes back to Wolfram and Hart, returns the discs, apologizes to Holland, and says he did what he needed to do. Holland says that your rescue of the kids was noble, and Lindsay is like, I want my own life. And Holland is like, we can be part of something larger. I handpicked you to join the firm because I saw your potential. I'm going to give you a huge promotion. You'll have your own job. You'll have your own whatever. Lindsay is looking out the window and thinking about what he's going to do. And that's the end of the episode.
Thank God. I almost fell asleep.
Before we talk about our final thoughts on this one, let's talk a little bit about some trivia. Jennifer Badger, who plays the blind girl Vanessa, was Charisma Carpenter and Eliza Dushku's stunt double on both Buffy and Angel.
She smirks very well.
So they gave her a chance, and she obviously blew it.
She doesn't have much to do, but a few times in the episode, she gives a small smirk, and she's very good at it.
The fight scenes between Vanessa and everybody else, when everybody's all glowing, they couldn't afford to shoot it in green screen, so they painted the actors with glow-in-the-dark paint, and that was the effect that you see in those fight scenes, which is kind of
man. Now I got to watch it again. That's messed up.
Whoa.
And we get sort of like a peek into what's going to happen in season 2 and the stuff with Lindsay, who I actually really like as a character. I dig Lindsay.
I feel like you would. I feel like you are on Team Wolfram and Fart, whatever their name is.
I mean, I'm not on Wolfram and Hart's team, but I
called them Wolfram and Fart. If anyone noticed, that. I just wanted to have someone.
Jules a grown up.
The German title of this episode is Die Augen der Vanessa Brewer, or The Eyes of Vanessa Brewer, which is a very Eyes of Laura Mars kind of reference, and I like that. Mm-hmm. And the French title is Force of Vue, or Blind Strength. Blind Strength.
That's stupid,
but I like that Eyes of Laura Mars reference because that's a movie nobody remembers. Okay, so let's talk about our final thoughts and letter rating on this episode. BJ, you go first.
Oh.
I always love it when the bad guys do that, like you're gonna kill the person you think, and then they surprisingly kill the other person. Like it's such an awful cliche, turn the gun at the last second and shoot the other person. But I was doubly amused by the fact that they did it in an extraordinarily messy way in an office room, like in a meeting room. Like seriously, use the plastic bag and suffocate thing. Don't just like splatter blood everywhere. Now somebody has to clean that shit up. So Wolfram and Hart, very bad ways of killing people. They should know better. What else? Lindsay is good. Lindsay is better a character than I remember. I like watching him. I think he's good. And he has fantastic hair. There was just a lot of generic stuff, but the what's it called? The caper aspect of it, the breaking in and stealing stuff, was decent. Guns part of it was fantastic. All in all, I thought it was a bit wasted. They could have made it more fun. But between Gunn and Lindsay, this episode was saved from utter awfulness. So a C+.
All right, Jewel.
I mean, I felt like last week or whenever the last time we watched this show, we were on an uptick. I thought we had come to a place where we were going up or anywhere.
Uh-huh.
I just don't think it's fair for me to grade this. I don't think it's. I mean, I don't want to. I hate it. I hate it so. I thought it was so stupid.
Okay. So, what's your letter rating on this one?
I don't even have any words.
Well, I don't need words, just a letter.
Q.
Okay. So Joel's giving it a Q. I kind of like this episode. I like the development of Lindsay's character. I like the development of Lindsay's character. I like the heist thing, like BJ said. I love Gunn's role in that. I liked the interactions between all the characters in this, and I like the scary blind assassin murder lady. I am going to give this episode a C+. B- somewhere in there. I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I'd watch it again, but not anytime soon. So that's my final thoughts on that.
So C+ for you is pretty good, and C+ for me is almost a stinker.
Yeah, but I don't grade any things on Angel versus Buffy.
Kind. A C+ is kind. Why are we being so nice to Angel? Are we afraid of David Boreanaz on this podcast? What is the issue
You
here?
gave last week's an A+. You gave the dumb episode with Gunn trying to find his sister an A+.
Gunn was hot. He was fun to look at. There were many other things that happened. You could focus on not this stupid bullshit. I don't think the story. I'm sorry. The blind lady who's killing blind children.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Hey, Jewel. This is the part where I'm going to cut in ads when the audio comes out. We don't have to read them today. It's all good. So we jump right into our
I
next.
spent time looking for these today.
I'm
just
so
saying.
sorry.
I spent time on that, like a full minute and a half.
Our next episode is the season 1 season finale of Angel to Shanshu in LA. Wesley tries to decipher the mystical scrolls of Abergian that Angel stole from the Vault of Wolverine Heart. The crooked lawyers need the scroll for the rites of raising, which purportedly brings forth a great evil into the world from the vortex of hell. A demon named Voka arrives to preside over the raising. Voka begins by stealing the scroll back, cursing Cordelia with relentless visions of pain and death, killing the oracles of the powers that be, and firebombing Angel's apartment and office, nearly killing Wesley. So, a small episode. Angel finds the rites in progress, kills Voka, and reclaims the scroll of Abergian, severing Lindsay's right hand with the Voka scythe. But in the end, the evil lawyers get away before Angel has a chance to identify what they raised. But we know. Okay, so this episode, I just covered a lot of what happens in this episode. Some of these descriptions are more descriptive than others.
Right off the bat, I had a problem with this episode because of the title was a giveaway. Because, of course, I saw the movie To Live and Die in L.A., which is great. Very dark movie.
With a soundtrack by Wang Chung.
Yes, and starring, what was his name? Gil Grissom from CSI.
Sure.
William Peterson. Anyway, because of that, as soon as Wesley translated it to mean die, I was like, oh, it's also going to mean live. Of course it has to, because of the title. And then, sure enough, spoiler alert.
I'm sorry, how is that a natural inclination to think that? Like, how are you like, oh, of course. Well,
because the title
live,
means, Shanshu means
die.
live and die. That's clearly what it's meant to be. It means live and die.
Because he said Shanshu, you're like, oh, of course, click Shanshu, live and die.
Because
the
title,
the
title of the episode is To Shanshu in L.A., which is a play on the movie title To Live and Die in L.A. So Shanshu in the title.
Who else would know that?
Anyone who saw that classic 1980s crime thriller.
Nobody saw it, BJ. This is just one of those weird things that you know and nobody else knows.
The writers of this episode clearly knew.
Yes, exactly. This show from 20 years ago knew a movie that was already 12 years old at that point.
It indeed was, at least.
I feel like a bunch of men wrote this show for each other.
Yeah, so
yes.
This show, that's not wrong.
Chris Carpenter's wardrobe proves that point.
So this episode is like all about that scroll that was found in the previous episode.
Is it all about that scroll?
It's all about that scroll. No scrolling. So we find out that like the lawyers are trying to raise this beast, this unspeakable beast, and this demon is coming to help them. The demon goes first to where was I? So we find out that he's not supposed to have those scrolls because they're very needed for this ritual, and we meet.
No, I don't want no scroll. Scroll is a no.
Cordelia has a vision about a homeless woman fighting a slime demon, like you do. Now, let's talk about Kate here for a second. So Kate...
Do we have to?
I mean, here's the thing. Kate is the police lady character. I think she's a fabulous actress. I think that she's very pretty. I do not like her character anymore. I don't know what point she serves. She just shows up to be the grisly, like her Law and Order character, but in Angel. It never works. Do we have any other opinions about Kate at this point?
No,
she's very pretty. Kate seems like a character that they just didn't know what to do with.
She was a pointless character.
Yeah,
she was introduced in the beginning as like a love interest, probably, and it just didn't pan out. And they had no chemistry because it's David Boreanaz, and he has chemistry with no one
except 15-year-olds.
Well,
so
how old was Buffy when they started?
And really, their chemistry wasn't even that great because
was she already 16?
A sap. What do they call them now? What do the kids call them? Simps? You're a simp.
She was a simp. He was a simp.
He was a simp.
Yeah, their romance never worked for me either. But anyway, please.
I like that actress. I think that she's good. The character just never worked, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you. And
I would love
times when they let her actually have range,
I follow her Instagram and she does these live streams. She's very clever. I like her a lot.
Oh,
I would love to
cool.
have her on our show. However, I just don't. Her character just seems misplaced in our show.
I think it's the show that is misplaced. I think her acting and her character is fine. I think it's the show that is the problem.
I'll give you I agree with it. When the second time she was given range was when her father died, and it was written terribly. I mean, there's only so much she could do. She had like 5 seconds to display grief. It was like the scene was not well done. But when she gave that speech in the bar in that much earlier episode where everybody got all emotional, she was fantastic. If they give her like more to do with actual acting, she'd be great. But yeah, I agree. Her character just never went anywhere.
So we see this Voca demon go to the oracles that Jewel hates with a fiery passion, and he murders the oracles with a scythe.
Well, that was the only positive thing that happened in this entire episode.
I was actually on his side for that too. Yeah, those oracles had to go.
Yeah, I agree. And so then we see like at a market, Cordelia is buying some art supplies because she wants Angel to have a hobby. Okay, fine. And she's talking to like this nice vendor lady, and the demon Voca, who looks like a backup dancer for Lady Gaga in the middle of this like flea market. It doesn't look like, nobody would be like, that's a normal thing, even in LA. I mean, maybe in Austin, maybe, but not in LA. And he like brushes against Cordelia, and she's like, what was that? Nothing happened. And then she starts getting visions of like everything. And actually, this is something that this is a part of this episode I really enjoyed, is that like just the constant visions that she got was very much like, you can see how that would be like a torture thing. It was like when Buffy could hear
Willow also later. When Willow will have all of the pain of the world going through her.
Yes. And then, but also when Buffy could hear everyone's thoughts in that episode where she could hear thoughts, it was very, it was very well done. And it was done to like a good effect. She's screaming, whatever. Angel starts putting stuff in his weapons cabinet. The phone rings, but the demon's already in his house.
From inside the house
office. So Angel heads to the hospital really quickly. The demon shows up. He takes the scroll and he leaves behind this thing that has like a hum sound to it. At the hospital, he hears the screams. He sees Cordelia in agony, but he has no idea what's happening to her. Wesley goes to get the skull, but he finds something else that is making him like freak out. Angel pulls up to the building, and the whole building explodes. Angel goes in. He finds Wesley.
Who was surprised?
Angel goes in. He finds Wesley Angel. He pulls him to safety. He finds Wesley Angel. He finds Wesley injured, and he pulls him to safety. And outside, an ambulance takes Wesley. And Angel is going to follow, but Kate stops him. And Kate is just like in the way and hostile and just like, go away, Kate. Like, you are not needed.
Yeah, she's unpleasant.
Like all cops. At the sorry, no, the Capitol Police bang up job, guys. At the hospital.
At least they're on the right side of things.
I mean, are they? It seems like they let those guys in, but okay. I
was looking at the size of that crowd. I don't know. If I was one of those cops, I would have no idea. I mean, I was outmanned 100 to 1. I'm just saying,
you help old ladies with sippy cups downstairs. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I'd be like, you on
that's
your own.
Because you don't know what those old ladies are up to. They usually have a shiv somewhere.
I'm not getting near them. I'm not helping them.
So Wesley is still, Wesley's in the hospital. Cordelia's in the hospital. Angel's there, and he notices that she has like a symbol on the back of her hand that Cordelia does.
That no one else noticed before, and it was just blatantly there. And what was it, like a club stamp?
Yeah. So Angel sketches it and goes to the oracles to ask for help. He realizes they're both dead, but then the lady ghost shows up.
He realizes
like,
he walks over them, and he's like, "Oh shit, they're dead."
Blood splattered corpses. Like, yeah, he figured it out.
And the words to the spell that can save Cordelia are written on the scroll, is what the lady ghost tells him. And they're hiding in Man's Law, Wolfram and Hart. Who gives a shit? And Angel grabs the scythe that was left behind, and he goes to kill Voca. Angel is unwilling to leave his friends unprotected and asks Gunn to guard them at the hospital. So this episode and the last episode, we got a lot more Gunn, and we're going to get a lot more Gunn as the show goes along. We see a large box with vampires chained to it in the middle of a crypt. Voca's there chanting, and all the lawyers are on their way to the crypt with a large truck behind them. Lila tells Lindsay about the man who disappointed the senior partners, and so they made him eat his own liver.
Tasty.
Yeah, she's trying to scare Lindsay. I really like Lila. I like that she's just kind of this like foil to Lindsay and this competition with Lindsay, and that gets developed as the show goes along as well.
I also like that Lila is this, ice queen, but we did briefly see that when threatened by Faith, she gets scared.
Yeah,
she's got, which changes everything. It means that all of her hard edge is conscious.
right.
She's not just this tough broad and that's it. She's a person who's acting that way, which I find every time she's tough and stands up to somebody now much more interesting.
Yep. So they're in the middle of this ceremony. The demon guy is doing the ceremony, and he stops and he's like, "There's something here." Angel busts through the windows. Homeboy has another scythe. They have a big scythe fight. And Lindsay tries to continue doing this.
Scythe it real good.
Scythe it.
Scythe it.
That was a
Scythe it
stretch,
good.
and they can't all be winners. So
Love you, Joel.
the spell finishes, and the 5 vampires just turn into dust, and the dust like goes around the box like a tornado touchdown, girl. And
Oh my God, you've been in Texas too long.
I did. I was getting a piece of Burger King. Sorry, that's a viral video from 10 years ago, so naturally it's my most recent pop culture reference.
That's my jam.
Yeah. Jesus. So there's a huge blast. It knocks Lindsay out, and Holland is like, move the box really fast, and they all leave. Angel pulls Voka's mask off, and it's all like maggots instead of like, he's got like maggots in his head. It's gross.
Nasty.
It's like the Oogie Boogie Man from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Right. Or Scarecrow from Batman.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about the bugs. I was not
Yeah,
pleased.
you don't like bugs, I know. So Angel shoves the scythe into his maggoty nose hole. Maggoty nose hole is my punk rock band.
Next time you drop acid, I do not recommend you eat rice or noodles, both of which I did last time. They come to life, and it's extraordinarily unpleasant.
What?
So Angel confronts Lindsay.
Are we not even going to unpack that one? We're just going to like let that one just hang and float
Joe,
away.
you never dropped acid and had really, really scary, gross things happen?
No.
I'm never hungry.
You're missing out on life. Let's change the subject now.
So
I can barely manage an edible, you guys. Like acid, are you out of your minds? Like that's not a me thing.
Angel confronts Lindsay about like why he, whatever, like why he has the scroll, why he stayed at Wolfram and Hart. Lindsay's like, I want to be powerful. And the scroll says that all of your connections to the powers that be are going to be severed. And so Lindsay like puts his arm out to burn the scroll that can save Cordelia, and Angel throws the scythe and takes in Lindsay's whole fucking arm off, which, by the way, I very much liked. Angel tells Lindsay,
I liked it much more when, spoiler alert, he's still there in the show. He just
and
it's like this
his arm.
thing.
He just lost his wrist.
Yeah, but
like,
it's this forever thing. Now we have an ongoing character who lost his hand to Angel. It's this wonderful setup for an ongoing, rivalry is not the
we
right
have to
word.
deal with him again.
We get way
Oh
more.
yeah, he's not
One-handed
going
Mitch?
away.
What are we
he-
doing?
Lindsay is one of the most solid parts of the show. He's too short and his hair's too good, but other than that, his
I
character's
love it.
great.
And he
He's
has one hand. He has one
Yeah.
hand.
which is what made his character finally like genuinely good.
And I do like the Angel quote when Angel leaves the room and he says, "Don't believe everything you're foretold," which I liked very much. So they're back at the hospital. Wesley reads the words to save Cordy. Her visions disappear, and she's like having a real hard time with everything that she saw, all the pain and suffering. And she's like, "We have to help all these people. Like, this is our top like priority now." So Angel is like, "We got this." So they go to Cordy's apartment, which is their new like home base. Wesley keeps deciphering the scroll, and as BJ mentioned later, Shanshu can mean to live and die, meaning that Angel will become human after all these trials that are foretold in the scroll happen. It probably won't happen.
How much you want to
for a
bet they
long
don't
time.
happen ever?
Well,
how much you want to bet he does not become a human? How much we want to bet?
It gets a,
How
it's
much
a little
you
more
wanna bet
complicated.
that it gets more complicated? Yeah, of course it does, and of course it'll go back and forth a bunch of times.
Yeah, it definitely gets a little more complicated than that. Where was I? Blah blah blah. So Cordy wants to break out the champagne. Angel's like, let's celebrate. Hutland tells Lindsay, we appreciate your sacrifice. Sorry about the arm thing, but good for you. And we're gonna get revenge on Angel based on what's in the box. Lila walks up to it softly.
What's in the box?
What's in the box? It's not Gwyneth Paltrow, thank Christ. It's Darla.
Major upgrade there.
Who we have not seen on the show other than in flashbacks since she got staked by Buffy or by Angel in season 1 of Buffy. So
in
the
real
Darla
life, I'd rather encounter Darla than Gwyneth Paltrow.
yeah, same. And Darla is the one who turned Angel into a vampire. We're getting a whole lot of Darla in the next season.
What happened to the Looney Tune one? I liked her so much more.
Drusilla?
Yeah, I need her to come back, and I need her to bring Edith.
She comes back too.
Yeah,
in this one or in Buffy.
In
basically, all the female vampires are
and in Buffy, both,
all of them.
Yeah. So we're getting a lot more Darla, a lot more Drusilla in the next season. I probably spoiled Drusilla, but you'll have to deal with it.
I do miss Harmony, though.
We'll get more Harmony too.
I know. I want Harmony back.
So a couple little trivia here. This is the 100th episode of Buffy and Angel. Like it's the 100th episode total of both series.
God.
And they destroyed Angel Investigations because the sets were really cramped while they were filming and they wanted to film somewhere else. So that's why they blew up the building.
As you do.
Do they go to the hotel already? Or is that later?
That's next season.
Yeah, okay.
They work out of a hotel like a hooker?
I forgot to mention. There's like this there's that wealthy guy that they saved in the previous episode, in 2 episodes ago, David, who wants to be their like benefactor, wants to give them money to keep doing this because he fancies himself like an amateur demon hunter.
I don't remember the details of the episode enough to know what my note meant, but I wrote, David sold his Patriot company at a good time. Anybody have any recollection about what?
Nope.
He did. He said he sold off some company, and in real life, that was a good time to have done it. I wish I remember the details. I'm sure our many fans will illuminate this incredibly important point.
The German title is Duel mit dem Bösen, or Duel with Evil.
That's
and
great.
And the French title is Le Manuscript, or The Manuscript. Okay. Let's get into our final thoughts about this episode and our letter ratings. And this time, we will start with Jewel.
I'm going to give it an Angel C. It's fine. Whatever. Wasn't as bad as the last one.
Are you excited that Darla's back? Did you like the law firm stuff? Did you like getting the loss of the oracles? Did you like any of that?
No.
Okay, great. BJ, your turn.
There's a bunch of stuff I liked in this. A lot of it in that they made permanent choices. Killed off the oracles, took away Lizzie's hand, and brought back Darla. These are all like events of consequence that will have to be dealt with in the future. And I like that, as long as, it's not too Deus Ex Machina, which it didn't feel like. It felt like these all were reasonable events in context. So I thought that was all pretty good. This episode sort of kept my interest while it advanced a whole bunch of important plot points, and that kept me interested. And I liked that because I liked the larger story. I'm kind of always a sucker for that. But otherwise, it was kind of a meh episode. Like, there was just that one really great fight at the end, but I didn't think much of it overall. But it did keep my interest, and it was important. So that's a big
wasn't wrong
for me.
Nothing happened in this episode.
What are you talking about? Important things happened, but they're like bullet points.
Yeah, nothing big enough.
Oracles
and yes,
are dead.
Nick,
Darla comes back.
I just don't think that Darla can save us at this point. I think we have sunk so low. It's had like 2 little blips of like, oh, this might be something, and then like,
Joel, Angel has 5 seasons, and season 1 is the worst. Simple as that.
I disagree. Season 4.
I don't know how
Brandon. I know I'm lying, but don't call me out on it.
BJ, I wasn't even acknowledging what you were saying because I knew it wasn't true because you were laughing when you said it. It's all the worst.
Brandon, season 3 is better than season 1, isn't it?
No.
I don't know how David Boreanaz's got another show after this show.
Season 2 is better, that's for sure.
Nick says season 2 is the best of Angel, and I agree with that.
Oh, great.
Well,
Okay.
if
So it
Angel
peaks
wants to
early.
drop out at the end of season 2, fine.
Thoroughly great.
I would
season
love
5
to
is
give
quite
my
good.
final thoughts on this episode. I actually like this episode. I agree that nothing terribly interesting happens. I agree that nothing terribly interesting happens, but important things happen. Like BJ said, bullet points. We close stories. We contain the season as a like it's kind of like if it ended here, it does have a cliffhanger, but if it ended here, it would be okay because we have like full, complete stories.
Right.
It's kind of like that fake finale of Buffy with Adam being destroyed. Like it's not a good episode, but it closes things up.
And it occurred to me that the final scene with the reveal of Darla is very Marvel Cinematic Universe post-credit scene. Like
also, those of us who watched this live as it aired had no idea that Darla was in the box. Like we had no idea Darla was returning. We had no clue because vampires don't come back.
I had no idea Darla was in the box either, and I was still like, "Fuck!" Like, this is not going to get any better, is it?
So I'm gonna go on this episode. I'm gonna go with a solid B minus.
B minus is what I gave it.
Yeah,
I gave it a C, so I'm close in there.
Yeah,
guys.
we all were pretty much
like, oh, it's fine. Like, okay, great, fine.
Whatever.
Let's go on. Okay, so I want to correct one thing. I said earlier that we weren't going to do an episode for 3 weeks. That is not true, actually. Jewel and I had a conversation, and we have decided that as a palate cleanser, and maybe it'll be just for Patreon. We'll see how it goes. But we would like to answer. So Jewel and I love giving advice. It's like our favorite thing in the world. Our personal lives
so good at it.
Our personal lives are a disaster, but we're really good at giving other people advice.
Yeah.
So we are going to do an advice episode next Sunday.
Ask me anything
at our normal time. If you have any problems in your life, anything, it can be Buffy related or not Buffy related. You can ask us our opinions on things. We'll go as long as we need to. Because are
we adding a little AMA, ask me anything into this or no?
No, because nobody on Reddit gives a shit about us.
Well, I'm not saying no. Well, if they didn't have never mind. I thought it was more important.
It could be an advice thing, or you can ask us anything. We'll go live. You can follow us on our Facebook page, and we will answer your questions. Also,
I just need a break. It's been too much Angel.
I got to cut in here and point out to our many fans that I was not invited to participate.
No, this is a Brandon and Jewel.
This is a Brandon and Jewel thing. But I may crash. I think I may want to crash. I think I might, and I might want to be like Brandon and Jewel. Too bad.
So if you are interested, our Brandon@GurarCast.com is our email address. You can email us your questions in advance, or you can join us on our live stream on Facebook. And we'll just go through these and we will give you advice. It can be about anything. If you want your questions to remain anonymous, just email them and just tell me in the email that you want them to stay anonymous, and I won't say your name. But we want to answer all of your questions and all like anything that you have to ask us. And we'll go for hours, Joel. I ain't got nothing else to do on a Sunday afternoon, do you?
All right. Here's the deal. If any of you out there have questions for me, just tag them as such. And I'm going to tell Brandon that he has to contact me while he's doing it. If anyone wants me to say something, just text me. I'll join in.
I'm so glad you have such a high opinion of yourself. I really
right now, there's about 3,000 people out there going like, all I want is BJ. What are Brandon and Jewel going to tell me?
I think that's a different search that they're doing.
And again, this can be Buffy related or not. This can be about personal advice in your love life, your personal life, your family life. Like, we got this.
We're going to get questions about Orthodox Judaism.
As long as, and a disclaimer here, and nothing past season 4 of Buffy or season 1 of Angel, because there's spoiler stuff for later. So be very careful if you ask us Buffy questions, because I will not put them on the screen unless they are.
But we will shame you.
We will publicly shame you.
Get one over on
No, we're not going to shame anyone. This is an advice episode, so we're just going to go for it. And the other thing is, I found our new Patreon. It's GAC Podcast. So patreon.com/GAC Podcasts. Is the GurArcast podcast network.
Podcasts, plural.
Podcasts. So I'll put a link in the show notes as well. We'll get all these shows live on iTunes because I'm so far behind doing that too. But that's what the next 3 weeks are for. So next weekend, join us for this. Keep an eye out for our announcements for our other podcasts. And before we go, because we have like 2 more minutes, Jewel, what is your final letter rating as an entire season of Buffy season 4 and Angel season 1? separately. Buffy season 4.
All right, listen. So Angel, no, let's go Angel first because that's obviously easier to just crash. So listen, it had two beep beep. It had two
Spikes.
two spikes, two heartbeats, if you will, of moments where I was like, okay, we're almost there, and we're just chilling at like a D.
Okay, fine. That's fine. You've had a few Fs, so that's not bad. I'm curious actually when I go through and because I'm going to make a list of all of our ratings on all the episodes we've done so far, and I'm curious where your actual average lies. I'm guessing it's probably going to be right about that.
Probably is. I would. Yeah. It's just Angel for me. It's just not a me show. I need some angst, something, not just some like broody, sad. And yeah, Cordelia is not even bitchy and interesting. So it's whatever.
Yeah, you're right at a D.
Okay, so Buffy season 4. I mean, I liked some of those episodes a lot. I enjoy. I remember having. I believe I gave an A+ this season.
You gave a few A+ this season.
Yeah, I think I really enjoyed it. So I feel like for me, season 4 is like a B+. I think it's pretty good overall.
All right, great. Well, that's our show. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be back next week for our advice episode, and we will be back the first Sunday in February, whatever that is, for our beginning of Angel season 2 and Buffy season 5.
You guys, it'll be my birthday, so send your well wishes, birthday presents. You can send me things to our cast PO box.
Your birthday is February 7th?
February 4th, so I will have just had a birthday, and it still counts as my birthday month / birthday week / it's fucking COVID. Give me my time. Also, this past Friday was Amber Benson, who plays Tara. It was her birthday. And tomorrow is Mark Blucas, who plays Riley's birthday. So it's a whole season for... You can wish me happy birthday anytime. Hello. And thank you guys so much. We're so happy to have you here. I'm so sorry we had to skip a week, but we are going to come back full force and kick ass on our next season. All of the ass. And thank you guys for subscribing and liking patreon.com/GAC podcast. That's all I got. Jewel, thanks for joining me as always. And BJ, you've been awesome. Thank you guys. And grr. Arg.